I'm just going to ask you the question. What is it that you want that you're afraid of getting? Because this is something that drives me absolutely crazy when it comes to what I'm helping my clients with. In fact, it's one of my big things that I help them with when it comes to right mindset is getting past fear. In fact, it's so big that I did a live training last year on getting past your fear in 5 days or less, using a lot of what I have learned in my own life. And here's the thing about fear is that it can go one of two ways. Either you're using it as an excuse because you don't actually want the thing that you are saying you're afraid to do, or it's stopping you from getting something that you really, really want. And this is where it really hurts, because for a very long time, I was afraid of childbirth. I know that is one of my big secrets. That's not really so secret, especially in my empowered birth community. They know I used to be absolutely terrified of giving birth. Just ask my friends and family what it was like when I was a college student and in high school. I said I was never having kids. I was terrified. But the other thing is I always wanted to be a mom. I always had that dream of having a little girl and being able to go out and do my nails and hair and to talk. And I wanted to have that bond with my kids and to be able to sit with them and show them the movies that I love and to be able to have that passing on of knowledge in the most amazing mentorship ever, which is being a parent. Because being a parent isn't just about raising a kid and taking care of them for the rest of their life. No, you get to teach them life skills. You get to impart wisdom on them. You get to show them their own brilliance and then help them create their lives and become these amazing people that are apart from you. But I mean, the first thing is that birth is a means to an end. In order to have that beautiful child and have them come from your own body, you got to get pregnant and you got to give birth. And that stopped me for years. It stopped me for years from actually going after my dream. I wanted a baby so bad, but I was just so scared of birth. But here's the thing. I found a partner. He wanted kids. His mother was constantly talking about how she wanted grandbabies. We were together for 4 years. We knew that like at some point we're going to have a family. He wanted 1 kid by the time he was 30. In hindsight, he wasn't the best partner for me, but he was practice and he gave me a lot of good lessons. And I believe now that we came together because we were meant to have those kids. We needed to have those lessons, and then we've graduated from that relationship, but we had to have these kids. I don't know what the special dharmic imperative is for my children, but I do know that they are destined for greatness because they were chosen out of every single egg and every single sperm. Those kids came into my life. Out of every other opportunity to get pregnant, it came at that time for that reason, for them to be born. So it was divine timing. I believe that now, that my son, he is born when he was supposed to be born, and he was born in the way that he needed to be for me to step into my power. Because first of all, his birth story, as traumatic and crappy as it was also a lesson that put me on my path. And with my daughter, she came 2 years later after I had the knowledge and expertise to be able to have that empowered birth. And she has her own magic. And my son's got his own purpose in the world. I don't know quite yet what it is, but I do know he has an amazing heart. In fact, earlier last night, he told me, Mom, there's a kid in my class. He doesn't even really get a lunch. And he's also getting a lunch from the school, but his mom doesn't have a lot of money. And I feel really bad for him that he doesn't have a lunch. So would it be okay if I took some extra food? Because we're going on a field trip. We're not allowed to buy anything on this field trip, and we're not going to get our school lunch. So I'm taking your sandwich, like your other half of your sandwich. I gave him my sub sandwich, but I'm also going to pack some extra food because I want to make sure he's got some food too. Oh my gosh, my heart with this kid. And I mean, I had a little bit of fear come up because I'm like, okay, first of all, like you're feeding other people's kids, and like that food is really for you and your sister. But then it's like, no, we're okay. We're okay. Even though I'm a single mom, even though I'm very careful with my budget and I'm taking any extra money and I'm investing it back into my business and I'm very intentional with that, we're okay. And I know that right now the world is just like, there's so many people that are so afraid, and they're seeing the rise in grocery prices and they're freaking out. But we're okay. I'm okay with sharing what we've got. We've got so much extra food. The world has given us this abundance. We get extra groceries that are given to us. And like, it's just, we're getting this extra stuff. So yeah, okay. Pack the extra stuff and let's pay it forward and let's share it. Because why not? There was one time I was at the mall and these boys came up to me. They were probably a few years older than Hunter, but they didn't have any money. And they asked, do you have any money? And it's like, I don't have any cash on me, guys. However, what are you looking for? And they're like, well, we're really hungry and we need to eat something. Like we don't have a lunch with us. And I'm like, you know what? If my son was out with his friend and they were hungry and they didn't have any money, I would want somebody to make sure that they ate, because eating is important. They're growing boys, they need to eat. So I went with them to I went to Tim Hortons. I said, okay, boys, order what you want. And the machine didn't work. The automated order thing wasn't working. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll go up to the front. You guys order what you want. Like, I took that time before my hair appointment to go with them. It's like, I've got the time. These boys are hungry, and they're ordering just a plain bagel each. And I said, boys, do you want some water? Yeah, that would be great. I'd like some water too. And I'm like, okay, well, add 2 bottles of water to that. And they just could not believe it. Like, first of all, they came up to me and they didn't know if I was even going to say yes to buying them a bagel, and they really lowballed themselves. But then they got a bottle of water. I'm like, look, I have a son, and I know that as his mother, like, I would want somebody to take care of him if I couldn't. So yes, go out, and all you have to do, boys, is pay it forward. That's what I told them. And then I left. And my son's got that same energy. He's like, we're going to pay it forward. I'm like, yes, we are. So the thing is, though, is that the universe gives, okay? There is no reason to be afraid, because on the other side of your fear is the thing you want. And once you face that, once you wrestle with that demon, what happens is this amazing transformation happens. You suddenly stop being as afraid. Yeah, you still have that fear come up, but then you go out and do it anyway. Now, this could be as scary as talking to someone that is like way, like you think they could be out of your league, but you just really want to talk to them because they're the most amazing person and you want to be a friend of theirs, and you just keep reaching out. It's like, so what? Maybe they're busy and they don't get back to you right away, but at least you put yourself out there. When you're genuine with it and you keep at it and you're persistent in going after what you want, amazing things happen. I mean, the first time that I got in front of Donald, and he's just this amazing guy. I'll tell you more about him in a minute. But like, I was just like, this is Donald, and he's like this high level coach. He's this high level business coach. He like makes so much money, and he's so successful, and he's so powerful, and he's so prestigious. And one of my mentors is saying how he's this amazing person. He's learned from him. And like, this is like a big deal here. And even though I got a call with him, like free, as part of a package that I bought in one of the challenges, like I had this call, and every time I saw him, and every time my mentors would say, like, get on a call with Donald, like, you've got a coaching call. They're talking about this in the group. And like, I really need to talk to Donald. But our schedules were never working out. But every time, like, I would be on the events and I'd see Donald and he'd see me, and we didn't really speak to each other. We just had the email going back and forth. It's like, let's see I told him what I was doing. He liked what I was doing. I'm like, wow, like he actually understands my business. And I didn't think he would. But it turns out that his wife, like he had actually experienced home birth as a dad, and he was a dad and he had kids and he understood. It's like, actually, what you're doing is really amazing for women. And yeah, keep going. And yeah, we will get on that call. I'm booked right now, but let's get this scheduled. Still nothing happened. But I kept at it. I kept that in the back of my mind. It's like, this is someone I really need to talk to. Like, this is someone I need to get around. He knows something. He could really help me. And like, I just want to be around him. I just want to learn from him because he seems to be really awesome. And all my mentors talk about him and like, they have this reverence for him. So like, I trust their judgment too. And like, long story short, I mean, he's basically like an adopted dad to me. I adore Donald. But the thing is that it was that persistence. It was, even though he was busy, I still knew it's like, there is something important here. And so one day I was in virtual coach. I jumped in for the second time. And one of my mentors, friends, and like people I was learning from my coaches in virtual coach, James, he was talking. He's like, okay, so we have this platinum passport. And like Donald is like running this mastermind. And it's like a new thing that we're doing. And I'm like, I want in. I don't know how I'm going to get in. I don't know if it's going to be a yes or a no. I mean, I've already been given so much already. Like, can the universe really be that generous that I would get this too with where I'm at now? But it's like, I will do anything to get some mentorship from Donald. Like, I will do anything. And I sent him an email and I said, look, like, I do not have a lot of money right now. I am a single mom. I just left my ex a couple of months ago. And I'm building something. Like I've been trying to get things off the ground, but I want this and I will do anything to make this happen. And I will put in extra hours. I will do anything. I will go and edit things. I've got some editing. I can find copy errors. I can read over things. Like, I was willing to do like any grunt work that was necessary to get into this. And Donald liked my style. He's like, okay, let's get on a call. So I finally got that call. I'm like, nobody compared to Donald. Like I cannot believe that he sees me this way. Like, he could see my brilliance in the same way that I see other people's brilliance and bring it out. We actually share the same Myers-Briggs personality, which is just uncanny. It's like, when I found out he was an INFJ, I'm like, we're rare. We're freaking rare. And like, this is just incredible. And I had that feeling. It's like, this is like dad energy. This is like finding an adopted dad, like energy. And it's like, something's here. Like I had like, seriously, like this whole feeling. It's like, I feel like maybe in a past life, you were my dad. And like, flash forward, we were in Austin, we were at the airport, and I told him, it's like, I always kind of had this feeling like maybe you were my dad in a past life. It's like, I got that feeling too. But the fact is that seriously, I went and talked to Donald. I sent an email. I didn't even know what was going to come out of it. And now I've got this amazing group that I meet with every other Wednesday. I've got Donald on my side and my team and my friend and my mentor. And it's just been fantastic. And I'm really seeing my power now. I'm really seeing it. And it's allowed me to take action, because that's one of the things is when somebody sees it in you, even when you don't see it, when you're minimizing it, but they really bring it out in you. That's the right support right there. And I just knew I had the right facilitator and the right support. Back to my 5 pillars. But, I could go on about this, but it really came down to fear. I had to get past all of that fear. And this is the same thing with the childbirth. In order for me to have that beautiful birth experience, I had to get past my fear. In order for me to choose a home birth, I had to get past my fear. In order for me to choose it again the second time after things derailing, and to say no in the system and to really step into my power, I had to get out of that fear. In order for me to leave my partner and let him be free and let myself be free and move on, I had to get past my fear. In order to create my business, I had to get past my fear. And I have a really, really good framework for getting past fear that up until a while ago, I was using it for other people, but I wasn't using it for myself. But when I started using it for myself, I started to see it, how it really works. And now I've got like this whole thing mapped out. As I said, this is something I coach my clients on quite a bit. Sure, I do it in the birth sphere, but I also do it just in the coaching gyms. I love coaching people on getting past their fear. I love it when they say, I'm afraid of doing something, but I really want this thing, but I need to try to play it safe. And then they try to play small, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, but that's not what you really want, is it? You don't want to go to the hospital. You just think that if you go to the hospital, you'll be safe. I've got news for you. If you want this, this is not safe where you're choosing. This is not the right environment for you. This is going to put you in more fear. It's going to cause more problems. And this is not going to work. Oh, you want that OB because you think that OB is safe because it's easier than trying to find somebody new? No, because if you do that, if you keep going down this path, like you're squinting. Annie talks about this in relationships, that anytime that there's a feeling of betrayal, it's because you're squinting. You were squinting at the data. Yes, you did see it coming. You were just trying to ignore it. Yes, looking back, I have done a lot of work on myself. Looking back, there were those signs that this relationship was going to go down that path. There were those signs. They were there. I ignored them because I just wanted so badly to feel safe. I was afraid. I was afraid of being on my own and possibly never meeting anybody, which is kind of silly, don't you think? To think that I would never meet anybody, really? I would never meet another partner who wanted to spend his life with me, or I would never be happy without a partner? Seriously? You can never, ever be safe and happy and have an amazing birth if you don't go with this doctor. Like it's just going to be a disaster. Really? You're going to tell me that if you stay home and birth your baby the way you want, that it's going to automatically be a disaster? Really? No, the statistics don't show that. And the statistics don't show that women who leave abusive relationships automatically never find somebody again. If they heal themselves, they tend to find the most amazing partner afterwards, because there's this whole thing about karmic relationships that I've been diving into. I love this stuff. This is so fascinating to me. Seriously, I have been on such a journey over the last 2 years, not just in like personal development, but also in just my education and what I've been diving into. It's just like, oh, I love this. I love this stuff. And I love the psychology of it all. And it's just so fascinating, which is why I love fear. And that is what I really wanted to get to. So that I have, as I said, I have a whole framework, but I'm not going to share it today because earlier today in our private mastermind, in our group with Donald asked me personally to be his interesting person for the week. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me just tell you a little bit about what Donald has been doing for the last couple of months. A couple of months ago, Donald decided to create a group, like a group experience. It was very, very simple. It's through Zoom. It's a Zoom link, and he sends it out every single week. And it's his thing is Donald Stojak talks to interesting people. And he brings in a special guest every single week. And we talk about anything from success in business and mindset and elevating our lives, and basically to the point where it's just this amazing value packed, no selling thing that he does just for fun. And we're only doing it as long as it stays fun for everyone. And as long as people keep showing up, we're going to keep doing these. And it's just been a blast. Since we started back in February, it has just been a blast. We have had so much fun. And I am so excited because this week it is my turn. I got to have all my friends on and hear from a bunch of amazing stories and interesting people. And Donald is like the master interviewer. He's just like these talks, like I just have to tell you, all you have to do is Google Donald Stojak talks to interesting people, and it'll show up on YouTube. He puts them all on YouTube. So not only am I talking tomorrow, but it's also going to be up on YouTube later. So if you can't make it live, you can always check out the replay later. But coming live means you get to hang out with some really high level, awesome people, and you get to make those connections. And you get to ask questions because you can be spotlighted and ask questions of the speakers. I did that a couple of weeks ago, and it was just so much fun. This is just like, this is the best. This is seriously the best. And like Donald is the master, and he's just like the most awesome person to interview people. And he really has that heart, and you can feel that connection, that energy in that space. And as I said, I'm going to be talking tomorrow, and I'm really, really excited because guess what my topic is? It's on fear. I'm going to be talking about the strategies on how to actually get past your fear so that you can get the thing you want. I'm going to show you the difference between using fear as basically the excuse to not do things you don't want versus when you really got those blocks. There's some really simple things and simple mindset shifts that you have that you can get past fear. And I teach these to my clients all the time. I love doing this. This is a lot of fun for me. So I'm very excited, and I hope you'll join me. But here's the thing. Donald doesn't just let anybody in. You've got to get an invite. So if you want this and you're an action taker and you are ready to come and play full out and come live and hang out with us, and you recognize that there is no selling in this group, like you must be an action taker, and you must recognize that you've got to put whatever you're selling on the shelf. You are not selling in this group because you will get kicked out. We're serious here, and I will be so disappointed if you besmirch my good name by doing that when I am inviting you to this, because, you know, I'm all about integrity. I'm all about authenticity. And I want this to be a positive thing. I mean, this is my adopted dad. Okay. So you gotta play nice. Okay. Cause you gotta be nice to my dad. Okay. Anyway, if you want in, all you have to do is send me a message or put a comment in, tag me, send a smoke signal, whatever. If you are one of the lucky few who has my number on, like, I don't give out my cell phone number for everybody. Like, you know this. But if you do have my number, you can also text me. Okay. But if you want in, you got to tell me, because then I'll give you the link and then you'll be able to join. All right. And I hope to see you there. And if I don't see you there, make sure you check this out on YouTube, because this is so freaking awesome. Again, Donald Stojak talks to interesting people. All right. I'm going to go and relax until my kids get home.